Today we have a fun comparison between two understable fairway drivers from Axiom. Today we're going to take a look at the Axiom Trance in Prism Neutron plastic, as well as we have the Axiom Rhythm. Now the Trance 8.5 -2.1 and the Rhythm 7.5 -2.1. Very similar from Axiom, and I'm very curious to see how these differ in flights. Now, one thing I want to point out right off the bat is I feel like the Trance definitely has a little bit of a unique hand feel, and that's mainly because of the rim shape. It almost reminds me of a Passion, but the Passion, you know, on the outside of the rim almost has like that bead feeling. It's got, I don't know, it's got something there, and it feels kind of weird. If you've held a Passion, you probably know what I'm talking about. And that's what this reminded me of, but it's not as pronounced. It's not like it has that like outside bead. I know it's not a bead, but I don't know what else to call it. There's just a very pronounced divot, which makes the shoulder feel really rounded in my hand. Whereas the Rhythm feels just a little bit more traditional in the hand, I would say. I don't know, something to note, but it's hard to explain. Just out here in the wide open field doing a quick field test with these two discs. I like to try to show you every angle that I can. I think the main purpose of these two discs are going to be kind of hyzer flips or that nice turnover shot, but we'll start out flat and just see how they fly. I won't give it all my power just yet, just to see, you know, maybe for slower arm speed, maybe these will be really straight. I do not know, but we're about to find out. Well, I put it on hyzer. All right, I put it on hyzer at about medium power, I would say, and it just kind of holds hyzer. Instead of the flat, we'll try the hyzer right off the bat. That's what happens when you're an amateur player. Sometimes you have to make this up as you go. So same thing with the Rhythm, maybe a baby hyzer. And those two are very similar. So medium power looks like it's just going to hold hyzer. Or if you have a little bit of a slower arm speed, they're just going to kind of stay on hyzer. That speed is going to help them with that stability there. I know I said I wanted to start flat, but those both came out on hyzer, so we might as well continue with the hyzer. But this time I'm going to put more power into them, see if we can get that nice hyzer flip out of them. That honestly did not flip up as much as I thought it would. Maybe a little higher. We also have a little tailwind that's going to stable them up a little bit. You could see a slight flip up out of it, but I definitely want to give that one more go just to see if we can get it all the way to flat. That's what I'm expecting. The Rhythm flips up straight to flat, and that is such a dead straight disc right there. So that's what I expected out of the Trance. I think I just threw it a little too high to actually get it. Wow, kind of same thing. It just kind of pushing hyzer. Once again, very similar though there with the Rhythm. It seems to me that the Rhythm pops up a little easier than the Trance does, and that totally could be based off plastic. I don't know a whole lot about Axiom plastic, so cut me a break, but this seems a lot more durable, a little stiffer than whatever this is. Gosh, I wish I could remember, but that could be playing a factor in it. Now we're gonna give that hyzer one more to test, just because I'm putting everything I have into it this time to see if we can get it to turn over. And if it doesn't turn over this time, I'll be shocked. There we go. But really, that takes a decent amount of power. Like, we got a very similar flight out of the Rhythm with less power. Too much hyzer on it, but it still almost gets all the way to flat. The Rhythm also seems like it's pushing for a little bit longer. Seems like maybe it has more glide. I have no idea how good this GoPro mic is, but hey guys, if you're enjoying the content, please hit that like and subscribe button. So close to 5,000 subscribers. Super stoked about 5K. And for 5,000 subscribers, I am doing a pretty awesome giveaway, if I do say so myself. So please hit the subscribe button and stay tuned. Sorry if you can't even hear me. I don't know how good this mic is. What we found out about the hyzer with these two discs, the Rhythm definitely pops up a little easier. Even with the shot I just threw, I put it on so much hyzer and it still pushed further than the Trance. And I feel like I really tried to give the Trance everything I had. But I feel like at the same time, we did get a very similar flight. We just had to throw the Trance a little bit harder, if that makes sense. Once we threw it with some serious power, it definitely flipped up to flat. Now, I did throw a couple practice throws coming from that end down, and it seemed like both of these flipped even sooner with the little bit of headwind. So if you do have a headwind, I would be a little concerned. We do kind of have a helping tailwind on this end. Something to note. Time to get kind of the harder angle, in my opinion, down, and that's just going to be releasing these flat. Sometimes when I throw flat, I end up just kind of pulling it over on anhyzer. But we're going to try to get these as flat as we possibly can and see how they do. That was pretty straight. And there's the rhythm. So again, both discs flying pretty similar, pretty straight, without a whole lot of power. Just a little bit more power this time. I'm definitely throwing my power very similar with both shots. These two discs are landing almost in identical spots, at least in identical distances. Honestly, pretty straight. It's a bit more stable than I originally gave it credit for. I felt like that was good power. It felt rather flat, and it still just went really straight. And I feel like that wants to start turning a little bit, but it doesn't. It just stays straight. I don't know, they're psyching me out a little bit. Maybe just a little bit more touchy than I thought. Maybe a little bit more stable than I thought. You know, re-watching the footage, you can definitely tell they are maybe coming out on some baby hyzers. Not by much though, but that could be helping the flight as well. One more attempt before getting into the anhyzer. All right, I think I have decided that it's the wind. The right to left wind, I think, is what I've decided is going on. Because that you could see it actually get on anhyzer, and I feel like that one was definitely flat, and it just went straight. It just went straight like this. Usually if you get them turned over too much in a wind like that, it just kind of pushes them down, but I feel like that one just let it hold straight. And you can kind of see that start turning a little bit, but then the wind kind of pushes it. I'm having a really tough time deciding if these discs legitimately don't want to turn over or if it's the wind from down there. Because like I said earlier, there's a little tailwind and a right to left down there. So over here, we have a left to right, slight headwind. And we're going to try to throw these flat and see how they do, because the flat release is what's really tricking me out right now, I feel like. I keep thinking they should turn, and they're just not turning. Well, there it's pushing right. That makes way more sense to me. Okay, so yeah, they do want to go right, and that might have came out a little bit of hyzer and it still wanted to go right. The wind was just kind of tricking me there. Obviously, I'm always striving to give you guys the best information and make the best video that I can, but at the same time, a lot of this like field testing stuff is new to me as well, and so I learned some things, but definitely there, I was getting confused because I've thrown the rhythm multiple times. You know, I kind of know that it wants to go right, and it just was not wanting to go right. And after the hyzer flip even, you know, the fact that it flipped up on hyzer, okay, that's a good sign that it's a little understable. If I throw it flat, it should go right, and it just really wasn't. And I honestly believe that was the wind playing with me there. We have one more shot shape to test out, and that's the big Annie shot. Now we're gonna throw it from down here, and then we're gonna throw it from down there as well. Just a difference in wind. Here's the wind here. You can kind of see tail right to left. It might try to knock these discs down, but at the same time, the tailwind could stable them out where they don't actually turn over. We'll see what happens. Is it gonna hold? Did better in the wind than I thought it would, but it still came out of it. A little bit better. Kind of gets smashed down though. Another toss here from the other direction, different type of wind here. These should go way right. Yep, see ya. See how much easier it is for me to hold them over there too. That as well. So I feel like that's your pretty common, slightly understable anhyzer shot, nothing crazy there. It's just the wind is affecting them so much out here today that it's made the comparison a lot harder. I did not know it was gonna be windy today. When I first got out here, I don't think it was as windy as it is right now. And from those first hyzer throws, I felt like the rhythm was a little bit easier to throw, but both kind of went the same distance. I just got a little bit easier flip ups out of the rhythm. Now that totally could be based off the plastic. Also, the fact that this is a little slower speed. The Trance though, a little bit more stable, or seemed a little bit more stable than I was giving it credit for. Later in the video, it seemed like I figured out the wind was helping it. And when we went down there, you could really see them kind of take off. Overall, it did feel like the comparison was a little skewed just based off of the wind. But I think these are your pretty typical semi-understable fairways that are gonna flip up nicely for you. And if you have a bit of a stronger arm, you're gonna see these kind of take off and turn over for you. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you in the next one.